Hi, I'm Shane from Wedding Win, where we connect you with the best vendors in your region. And today we have Tara from I Do Weddings. Tara,
hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So Tara, what made you get into the wedding game rental business?
Well, I've been in the wedding industry for approximately 9 to almost 10 years. Just everything from serving, bartending, officiating, planning. So eventually it just made sense to branch out and find my niche in the industry. And that's how I Do Weddings Niagara was born.
Great. Now, how long have you been doing the business for?
So the game rental business itself is actually not even a year old so far. It will be, I believe, in May a year old, but right now it was just born last year, honestly. Like, I just saw a need for it and I was just like, okay, let's try it out. And it's been going great so far. But I've been doing other things in the wedding industry, like I said, for over 10 years or almost 10 years, sorry. So it just made sense to do it. And I think, honestly, that it's going to be something that I continue with.
Now, can you describe the range of games available?
Yeah, so our most popular games are obviously the 3-foot Jenga that you see here. And then I have a 4-foot Connect 4, the wedding cornhole for sure for weddings, but we have a standard cornhole for regular events, such as birthday parties or stag and does or whatever. We have like a bubble machine, which is really popular for ceremonies because a lot of people have those like little bubble things on the chairs, but this one blows like 1,000 bubbles a minute. So it just gives you that nice picturesque bubbles while you do your exit. We have ring toss, tic-tac-toe, yardsie, plinko. That's more of a stag and doe situation. I mean, you're happy to have it at your wedding if you'd like, but that's what I've noticed most people use it for. And yeah, I think there's a few more.
Okay,
Yeah.
So you provide games for stag and does as well?
Yeah, so that actually just came about through demand. So I started off with weddings, and then people would say, oh, do you have plinko? And I was just like, I do now. So so I'm happy to cater to whatever the clientele requires. So if I don't have the game, if they ask me for it, I'm happy to source it out and get it for them. But I would rather them ask me for it than assume I don't have it. That way I can see if I can provide it for them, because I don't know what people want unless they tell me.
Right, okay. So what's your most popular games?
Oh, definitely Jenga and the 4-foot Connect 4.
So Tara, how do you customize games to suit like the wedding theme?
Well, in terms of look, a lot of our wedding games I try to get neutral colors. So for example, the Connect 4, I try to get like just a wooden one that's like, same thing with our cornhole, something that would blend in with every wedding theme rather than getting like a blue one or what have you. So something that goes with everything. In terms of what games they want, I try to like understand where the venue is and then see what works in the venue and what doesn't. So if it's indoor versus if it's outdoor, obviously also the type of event. So if it's for weddings, I'm not going to suggest plinko. If it's for stag and doe, I would suggest plinko. If it's a stag and doe, I would suggest also mini putt. If it's a birthday party, mini putt, but if it's a wedding, not really likely mini putt. So just examples like that. So trying to get to know the couple, so where the venue is, or if it's indoor or outdoor, what they're using it for. So is it for cocktail hours, is it for the outdoor reception, as well as like I would say demographic if it's a birthday party versus if it's a wedding, or if it's like, even if it's a birthday party, is it for an 8-year-old or is it for a 70-year-old? So stuff like that really helps. So the more information I get from the client, the more I'm able to help customize their experience.
So how does the setup and teardown work?
Yeah, so usually we have an option of pickup and drop off, which a lot of people like. But for an additional fee, we do have delivery, setup, and teardown. So it depends on the time. that the event is, I'm happy to have somebody, either myself or somebody that works for me, to drop off the games, set them up depending on where they'd like them to. And of course, we connect with either the wedding planner or the wedding party or the bride and groom prior to, and they can let us know where they'd like everything set up. And then we do it to their specifications, and then we tear down after the event. And if they're picking up and dropping off, I'm happy to be flexible and allow them to pick up a day prior and then drop off a day after, because I know weddings are very stressful, and the last thing you want to do on your wedding night is drop off games to somebody. So I'm happy to let you drop it off the next day.
Great. How much space do you need for all these games?
It depends, honestly, on the type of game. For example, the mini putt, it's pretty long. So you need like a bigger space than if you were to have a Jenga. So that also comes into consideration when we're discussing it with the couple and or the client. So the space really dictates what kind of games you can have.
So yeah, I see Connect Four, I see Jenga at weddings. So why is it people always choose those games?
Jenga, I find that it has a lot of like, it could like fall at any point. So it's got like that, like, it adds hype to the event, right? And you're drinking, you're having fun. And Connect Four, like, those games are really easy. It doesn't require instructions to learn how to play them. Everybody knows how to play Jenga. Everybody knows how to play Connect Four. They're so much fun. Something to do while you're drinking, like if you don't want to dance or if you don't want to just sit on the couch and talk to people. So it gives your guests, like, honestly, for not a huge price, like, entertainment. So it's definitely, like, I think that it's worth the investment for couples to have at their wedding, because it doesn't require rocket science to play them, and it's something for your guests to do.
So do you have any games specifically aimed for children as well?
Actually, that's next phase. So definitely we will be having Connect 4 that's like more plastic and durable. We have done a few kids' birthday parties. They have destroyed our games. So I think that's why I have decided to move into finding something a little bit more durable for kids. But definitely I will have a Connect 4 for kids, along with just a little more kid-friendly games. Like, that's a secret for now, but like, we'll get to it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So your games, can they be used like outdoors and indoors?
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely outdoor, weather permitting, and definitely indoors, depending on space permitting. So for a lot of events in the summer, like that's our busiest season, is when they use these for outdoor lawn games. And then for the winter, it's slower, but it's still consistent, and a lot of people use them indoors.
Give me an example of how your games are set up. Like, say they've got a lot of outdoor space, a lot of indoor space. How would you set up the games?
Well, we would, again, work with the client to see where they would want to have, like, we would space them out because we don't want congestion in one area. And we would space them out so that we can have flow within the event. Obviously, we're not going to put it close to the bar because the bar is going to have a lineup. So just things like that. And then I would put some inside, some as well as some outside. It really is dictated by the venue as well. So if the venue allows for space inside for games as well as outside, then definitely I would suggest having it in both spaces. But if it's just outdoor, then that could be a problem if the weather doesn't cooperate. We did do an event in December. It was like a holiday party where we had some games inside as well as some games outside. So that worked really well because the people that didn't want to go outside in the middle of December still got to enjoy the games, whilst the people that were brave enough to brave the cold could go and enjoy the games outside. So it really just depends on the venue.
Great. Now, do you have any like game packages for weddings?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's at the moment it's $40 each, $60 for 2 games, and then it goes, the more you purchase, the more the deal is better. And then our best value is 7 games for $200.
Oh wow, that's a really good deal.
It is, yeah.
So how do you coordinate with the venue and the wedding planners? How does that look? look like?
Yeah, so the wedding planner typically reaches out to me once the client has booked, and then we just coordinate in terms of like either drop off and set up. Like she would let me know where setup would be, what time everything needs to be dropped off by and picked up by, and whether or not they require additional assistance with that. But usually it's pretty simple. Yeah.
So your games are in high demand and there's a lot of people renting these games all the time. Like, how do you logistically manage like when you're going to all these weddings at once? How does that work?
Yeah, it's not easy. I'm definitely looking to scale the business eventually, but right now it's a lot of being organized, which helps because I have an event planning background, so I'm organized by nature.
So how do couples get a hold of you?
So the best way to get a hold of me is through Instagram at I Do Weddings Niagara. And to book, it would be, the link is in the bio and it'll take you to our website and then you can just go from there. But DMs are acceptable too. But it's just, I mean, if you have questions, DM me. But if you know what you want and so on and you're ready to book, then just go to the website.
Tara, are your games accessible for people with mobility issues?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that question, actually. So I am a huge advocate for just anybody with disabilities. Every time I go to a venue, I always look for if it's accessible or not. A lot of places in Niagara are a lot older and aren't accessible. So accessibility is something that's always in my forefront. Our games, I think, are accessible to some people. Not everyone, unfortunately. I mean, if you have your arm in a sling, you can't really play Jenga. But in terms of mobility issues, I would say yes. I do provide a stand for it. So like height-wise, if you're in a wheelchair, you can still participate because you don't have to like bend down or anything like that. Or we don't have to put it on a table and then it's too high and you can't reach. For the Connect 4, you can wheel up to it and drop down like the discs. So for the most part, I would say we try our best to be accommodating. Even with actually our mini putt, I've got the golf clubs that are adjustable in terms of height. So again, if you're in a wheelchair, you can make them longer or you can make them shorter if you're a kid or like shorter. So it's something that I do think about when I get the games, but unfortunately some of them by nature aren't accessible. But I try my best to make sure that they are.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So when somebody rents games from you, what's common feedback you get from couples?
Oh, that everybody like was playing them all night and they loved them. They're very happy. I always ask for like a review at the very end and or just something to help us like improve. Because I have been in business for less than a year. So any feedback, of course, I'm going to take and take to heart. So that's definitely something is that they want maybe like an easier way to book, hence the website, and then more games. So once I hear about the games that they want, I go and like purchase them or source them. But yeah, so feedback has actually helped the business grow.
So what challenges have you faced in the game rental business and how did you overcome them?
Well, so because I'm in the wedding industry as an officiant, as a planner, my challenge is weekends because I'm so busy on weekends that it's difficult for me to be the one to drop off the games, set them up, and pick them up. So that's been the challenge, to be honest, because weekends are the busiest time for me in general. And so the ways I've tried to overcome that is to outsource. So I hire people that I can trust and people that know what they're doing and know how to set up and everything like that. We do training and I expect a certain level of service, obviously, and somebody who's reliable, especially somebody who's going to be there on time, because the last thing I want is for somebody to show up to set up when cocktail hour is about to start. So I want to make sure that they're going to get there early, everything is set up on time, and it's ready to go for when cocktail hour starts or when the party starts. So that's been the challenge, is finding people that will take on that job. Yeah.
Great. Now, how do you stay current with different wedding trends?
Yeah. So like I said earlier, definitely go with neutral colors. So whenever I can, I don't do anything like, I just keep in with a neutral color palette because that goes with all the weddings. And if the games are trending, I am happy to get them. So Jenga's been very popular lately. So has been like Connect 4. So I have multiples of those games so that it can accommodate multiple weddings on a weekend or a day if needed. But just listening to our clients' feedback and just keeping an eye on what the trends are. And a lot of them are, like having entertainment, like for your guests during reception. Because, I mean, if not everybody's on the dance floor, then they're at the bar. And if they're not at the bar, then they're just sitting down doing nothing. So just keeping in mind, like, stuff like that, like that there's just something for your guests to do is always going to be in style. Yeah.
Awesome. So what are your future plans with I Do Weddings?
Oh, I just want to like explode, but like slowly, if there's such thing. No, I really want to be at not every venue, but like any venue that can accommodate us in Niagara. Just want to like grow and be like the name for like game rentals.
Tara, thank you very much for joining us here on Wedding Win. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
And if you guys at home want to visit Tara's website, you can find it in the link below, or you can find her profile on weddingwin.ca. Tara, thanks so much.